Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Starlight Podcast. As you can see, for those who are watching, we are one member short. RIP to Daddy Sheev, John Bates. Woke up feeling under the weather today. Our thoughts are with him. May the Force heal him. We're gonna get into we're just gonna kind of chop it up here. Not that much of a schedule on what we're gonna talk about. Dagovere and I obviously are creators in the community, so we have lots of people commenting, kind of getting a feel for the community. So we're gonna kind of talk about whatever we've been hearing. But first thing you want to talk about is actually hello, Dagovere. Sorry.
Hello, Connor. How you doing, fam? How are you,
I'm good.
man?
I'm good. I'm good. I was ready to dive right into it.
Hey, man.
No,
I
how's
love the
how
dedication.
yeah, listen. I'm direct. That's what we got to do. But how have things been going with YouTube and TikTok? You've been in you listen. You got a viral video on TikTok going, all right?
I know. Yeah, it's so crazy because I have like four different accounts. But the Coke thing was really weird. I didn't put no hashtags, no nothing. Completely against usually the stuff that I do, and it was just like, yeah, okay, this is the one. I was like, all right, well, I guess send it. Fine, that's cool. But YouTube's been awesome. I'm like, dude, I'm so close to 10K subs. Like, I'm so close. If algorithm likes to mess with me a couple times, but we are so close. We're this close, Connor.
Yes, yes. And I will say your community is fantastic. Whenever
Yeah.
I hop into the Tuesday night streams, Tuesday 8 p.m. Anybody who's listening,
Shh,
Dagovere
please.
streams on YouTube. It's you have a consistent conversation going with
Yeah.
yourself, with the chatters,
Yeah.
with the subscribers. It's very impressive, I will
Y-
say.
Thank you, man. Like it's a tightly knit community, and like I'll post on the YouTube like little tab over there, and like there'll be like 500 votes saying people are coming into the stream. That doesn't happen, of course.
Yes, of
But
course.
but what's really cool is like, dude, it's like Legends diehards, new
Yeah.
canon diehards, and they're coexisting together. Yeah, there's someone's like, yeah, I don't like that. Wow, I don't know about that. But like they're all just like chilling and like no one's an asshole and everyone's just being cool and like that is amazing, man. I did not know that was possible.
Yeah, and that's what we love. My favorite thing is conversing with people who disagree but are not assholes. That's the
Yeah.
best for dialogue, for people learning new things, for people like just getting a different perspective on everything. That's the peak of content creation, in my opinion, right there.
Yeah, I think it's the peak of Star Wars fandom,
Yes.
honestly.
Yes,
Yeah, man.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So getting into the Star Wars fandom, we've got Kenobi season 2 rumors. Now,
Crazy.
they are just rumors,
Yeah.
and you are more tapped in than I am to people who are leaking the rumors, the
Hmm.
sources, and things like that. What were your thoughts when you saw this? Was about like a week and a half ago, maybe ish, where we
Yeah.
got a potential season 2 rumor.
Yeah. I personally, for lack of better words, I thought it was complete bullshit. I think it is, to be honest, because mind you, the people that I've been around and like I knew, I still know that there's a lot of stuff happening that hasn't been announced yet. But the Kenobi was something that this is one and done. Like even back, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has come out and said, no, Kenobi is just a one time thing. That's it. It's over. And so for them to go back on their word like that, I feel like would be so weird. But I guess at the same time, that's kind of consistent with Lucasfilm announcing something and then shelving it. Now all of a sudden this is going to happen, So, okay, all right. I guess the biggest question is, what's going to happen in season two if this is a thing?
My mind's at a blank. I
Yeah.
talked about this before on my channel, and it's like I don't think there's enough for because there's a couple options that you can go. It could be more Obi-Wan, which I think his story was wrapped up to a certain extent, with the exception of the Qui-Gon stuff. But like, I don't think we can get that much into it because to me, the mysticism of like Force ghosts and like the details between all that, we saw a little bit of that with Yoda, but like that's just something that to me I don't need an in-depth explanation on how someone
Mm,
gets there. It's like, hey, like we know that that's what you're doing. You're training for like I don't need to see the details. I don't need a show about that.
mm.
Like
Interesting.
that.
I
Yeah.
think that would be quite compelling, and I think that would be a very like a good risk. I wouldn't mind Lucasfilm taking because We've seen it in season 6 of the Clone Wars, but just like animation, not everybody's watching animation. Not everybody knows that Kenobi killed Darth Maul in Rebels, which I felt like probably should have been the story that we should have gotten for the original Kenobi series. But the Legends novel is right there. And I think the novel for the Kenobi series is probably something that they should follow for season 2 if they are going to do it, because I think it fits so well into the current universe for Star Wars. It's not messing with anything. You don't see Kenobi versus Vader, which I dislike how that happened in the first place. But I think you can have a series that is more intimate with Kenobi and only Kenobi. And yes, learning the ways of the Force, somewhat reconnecting again and getting more akin with that spiritual side. And maybe Qui-Gon shows up from time to time, and maybe also Commander Cody finds him. And I think that's something that probably should have happened in the first season, but hey, I'm all down for season 2.
Yeah, you're convincing me. All right, you're convincing me a little bit. You're convincing me a little bit. Like, yeah, I think, yeah, like, sure, like, more Kenobi, fine. Like, that's not something that I want, though. Like, that
Hmm.
is not something on my wish list. If I had it, would be, oh, Kenobi season 2. Like, I didn't love the first season. Like, I didn't like it. It
Yeah.
was it when you're watching it, it hits. There's the moments of nostalgia, there's the cool stuff that you see, but like as I get further and further and further from watching it, it's like, oh, like this doesn't stand as much as I thought it did.
100%. Like, this is kind of a hot take, but I've been getting a little bit more courageous, I guess, with my takes now. But I will say that a lot of people say, Last Jedi is probably, the weakest thing in Star Wars. I know. Yes, I know.
Oh,
Yeah. I also think that people say that Book of Boba Fett and The Acolyte, are down there for like some of the weakest stuff. To me, I think it's Kenobi. I
yeah.
think Kenobi for me is the weakest Star Wars project, and it's because of the potential that was thwarted. No matter what, like this is Anakin and Kenobi coming back. This is Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen coming back. This is their legacies, and I don't think that what we got in that show was representative of like their legacy, and the prequels and all these other things. I will say though that the last 2 episodes hits, and I
Mhm.
can't completely like attack Kenobi in general because I am what you made me, like that. Oh, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker, I did. Dude, I want that on a shirt. Like I will never forget that, honestly. But yes, oh yes, when I after outside of that, I forget Kenobi quite a bit, and I don't really want to remember it.
Yeah, it's that kind of leads into like the other part of like what a Kenobi season 2 could be. And if it is this, I don't think it should even be named Kenobi. Like Riva's story is still yet to be completed. Like
Hmm.
if they wanted to go down that path, I would understand that. But I don't think there's enough to hold up as a character on that alone. Like
Mm.
that, whether or not there's like a mentorship between the two of them, Kenobi and Riva, like that, like I just don't see that there's enough there. I think it
Ooh.
would,
Okay.
like, I don't know if, like, actually, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little, maybe I'm being a little harsh, but
Hmm.
that maybe that's not something that I want to see as much.
Well, I can understand that because it's almost as if like you've got the wind knocked out of you. Like,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of us were kind of jaded because I think we expected more, especially with Kenobi versus Vader in that. And the first time they meet isn't really like something that I want to remember too. But enough with like hating the series. I think that I actually enjoyed the end of Riva's arc a
Oh my
lot.
God, yeah.
Yes, and I would not mind Kenobi just like kind of chilling there and watching over Luke, and then scrub dub Riva comes over here and has no idea what she wants to do with her life. And then also Commander Cody finds Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then it's just like he's guiding all these people and scrubs, Order 66 veteran over here, Inquisitor person, so I would really enjoy to see that, and then on top of the mentor, having all these students, he's also being the student from Qui-Gon Jinn. I think that
Mhm.
would be really interesting. Is the writing going to be there? I don't know. Who's going to be the villains? I think that's why you look at the Kenobi novel, because the Kenobi novel has an interesting plot. I'm not sure if you've read it or anybody listening to the podcast that's read it. There's a lot of really good stuff in that book that I think can help amplify and help make that story more cohesive and something interesting for everyone to watch.
Give us a little snapshot, because I have not read the Kenobi book. Give
Yeah.
us a little snapshot of what that is.
Absolutely. So this is Tatooine. There's a lot of scum and villainy around here. There's stuff going on. Water taxes. You have the moisture farmers, and then you have the Tusken Raiders. And the Tusken Raiders are there, and stuff is happening with the Tusken Raiders and the villagers. And you're kind of seeing how this ecosystem is in Tatooine and the Dune Sea. And of course, there is also the Hut Cartel and the gangsters that are there. So there's a lot of components that are happening with this, but not is all what it seems. And yeah, without spoiling everything, you end up seeing what's actually happening with the Tusken Raiders. There may be a crate dragon involved and stuff like that.
Oh,
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. But Kenobi ends up being the hero, like he is, and you get to see how basically what he's doing while he's watching over Luke. And I think that on like if you add Commander Cody. Oh my God, I think that would be a story I would love to see. I would actually prefer that more than the first season, to be honest.
yeah. No, that would be cool, just to kind of see what was happening. But yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You have changed my mind a little bit on Kenobi season 2, because when I heard that first, I was like what's going on here?
Yeah,
Like,
same. No, but that's the thing though. It's like to me, that's the only thing that interests me. Like I don't want to see him reunited again with Leia again or
yeah.
anything like that. Like it's too much. I think it's too gimmicky, and I think because of the Mandalorian, like there is enough of this wolf and cub thing happening, and I think it's too much, and I think that they need to take more risks and be a little bit more creative. Legends is right there, man. Oh, like you have a whole treasure right there. I think it's time to start using that entire source. It's a plethora, man. It's a plethora of writing and ideas. We should probably start digging into it.
Yeah, they take bits and pieces and references and things like that from Legends, but they've never
Yes.
delved into a story. And I think, like, for me, the only Legends that I have read is, like, I mean, technically it's Legends, but it's
Yeah.
the Revenge of the Sith novel is technically
Hmm.
Legends, which 92% of people in your poll think is canon. They
Yeah.
consider
Yes.
it
Yeah. See.
canon.
Yeah. 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 But I think it's interesting because all novelizations are not direct
Right. Yes, exactly.
dictations of the movies. There's always something different. And I mean, like for instance, like there's a lot of stuff that happens in the Revenge of the Sith book that's like, what? This didn't happen. But
Yeah.
the ideas are there, the annotations are there. So in our head canon, we can take some things, and I think that's okay.
Yes, yeah. I fill in for specifically for that book. My headcanon are like, aside from like the Order 66 chip stuff, like you can just
Yes.
insert conversations. This happened, that happened. Like what they were thinking. Like I can totally do that in my head.
Yes.
Like, um, but yeah, it's the other thing I was going to mention was Darth Bane trilogy
Oh
is
God, yes.
prime,
Yes.
prime for a show
Yeah.
or a trilogy of movies, whatever you want to do for Bane. Like,
Yeah.
he's canon, we know he's there. Like, give us something.
Yeah. No, dude, 100%. I think we should end up talking about the Sith Eternal now, since we're talking
Yeah,
about Bane, because in my opinion, it's not just Bane that's like pivotal to like the whole rule of two. This is 1,000 years after this, so we know that he's canon. His name is canon, and the thing is too is like they're dropping stuff all the time, and like the newest High Republic book came out, they drop Odan Ur's name like in person, like Elzar Man is saying, "Oh my God, I wish I had Odan Ur's knowledge right now." It's just like,
mm,
oh, okay, so now we're like slowly dipping into this whole Legends continuity. Cool, I really appreciate that, because all we are before is just getting names. The Sith are right there. The Sith, in my opinion, are the pillars of the Star Wars timeline. They're all there. We have an anthology series like Visions. Why can't we do that, but for live action and follow the Sith? You know, like
Yeah.
I think that would be important. And of course, we have Darth Bane is sitting there. Yes, those books, in my opinion, are necessary reading for any fan that considers himself a hardcore fan.
Yeah.
Uh, when is it going to happen? I don't know, but that is a story that needs to see the light of day, or you just make it canon.
Yeah.
I think you just make it canon because the Old Republic, yes, and the Darth Bane trilogy, nothing is substituting it, nothing is rewriting it. You know, in my opinion, it's still canon to me.
Yeah. No, it is the peak. And like I listened to that entire trilogy and oh my goodness, it is
Yeah.
such a good listen.
Yes.
But the Sith are like there's a couple things that differentiate like Star Wars from other types of like science fiction media. Like the Sith are such a cool antagonist
Yes.
to the Jedi. And yeah, that leads us to the Sith Eternal because I had made a video just describing what the Sith Eternal was like. Who are these people that are chilling
Yeah.
in the gladiator
Yeah.
arena, like watching Rey versus Palpatine? Like what is that? They're chanting. They have like this isn't like a Premier League game. This is like the Sith. Like
Yeah.
um and like it sparked up a little bit of conversation in my comments where people were like, "Oh my God, like this
Yeah.
is like such a cool concept.
Yes.
I wish it was done better. I wish we had more stuff on them."
Yeah.
What do you think about the Sith Eternal?
There's a lot of things that you can criticize in the sequel trilogy, but I don't think Exegol and the Sith Eternal and the Sith Troopers are one of them because I think it falls directly into the old lore for Dark Empire and everything else that's going. Sith are always about survival. Sith are always about laying out rules and not following them. And the one thing I love the most is how the Sith arts, the Eternal, are all there, man. Like there's just thousands of. They are a cult. It's a true religion. And I don't think The Rise of Skywalker and Exegol like even does justice enough of like how numerous there are of there's
Yeah.
so many. Because to me, like when I see The Rise of Skywalker, they all didn't die. There's no way they all didn't die. You know,
Mm,
and funny enough, I have the complete locations book right next to me with all my other stuff that I have here because I'm surrounded by books. And it just goes into detail about like how long the Sith Eternal have been there, what they've been doing. Like the whole castle is practically barracks for the Sith Eternal,
oh my
but
goodness.
like they're everywhere, man. Like I personally think that Exegol is not the only place that they are. I think that they are in other galaxies all over. I mean, it's the Sith, bro. They're everywhere, man. Even
Yeah.
under the Jedi Temple, bro. They are everywhere.
Yes. Yes. That's I one of the things that I love about like this you mentioned the Jedi Temple at the end. Like
Yeah.
that is to me, that is like the prime arrogance of the Jedi. Like, oh
Yes.
no, let's just build on top of this. Like,
Yeah.
we are better than them. I don't know. I mean, that gets into the High Republic too. Like, they get into
Yeah.
that a little bit where they're trying to like they're purifying all of these like dark
Yeah.
acolyte
Yeah.
things and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
um
that funny enough, that's actually like a really big RPG Star Wars book source book thing about the Jedi Shadows that they go around and literally like exterminate anything that represents the dark side to like like the most
yeah.
extreme way, which is actually kind of crazy and I think not Jedi, you know?
That's the
So
opposite of what the Jedi. That's like honestly the opposite of what the Jedi want to do. They want well this Force and the Jedi. I mean, they need balance. You have like light and the dark. It's all there, yin yang. Like
yeah.
you can't get rid of it. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
not get
yeah.
rid of it.
Yeah, it's like chaotic good in a
Yes.
sense, and funny enough, I know we're talking about the Sith Eternal, but like this is something like that's one of those things that I always have to make videos about, which I did when I first started doing YouTube. Was these source books and the Jedi shadows and how they would exterminate and eradicate anything that represented the Sith or the dark side, and it's like one of those things that probably shouldn't be canon and but people take this one specific class and just label the entire Jedi of it, you know, like they're just
Yeah.
like some yeah chaotic light side Nazis or something. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
really not, in my opinion, anti George Lucas Jedi, but that's what a lot of people online think that this is the Jedi. You know, this is why the Sith are better, which is wild, you know. But here we are. So yeah, man, it's stuff like that that I think gets really interesting. How you have the Sith cultists, and then you have the Jedi shadows.
Yeah. And I think I read somewhere that there are also Sith cultists on Vader's castle,
Oh, interesting.
I believe.
I know that we were talking about Vinay
Yeah.
the other day, which is the Rogue One character that is also I don't know if you've read the Kylo Ren comics, Legacy of Vader, but like he is barely alive. He's in one of those like Bomor monk spider
Oh, okay.
droids
Yeah.
right now that's keeping him alive, and it's really funny. He's going around mentoring Kylo Ren,
Yeah.
and I mean, I wouldn't put it past us, especially with all the concepts that Rise of Skywalker was supposed to have. Um, but I mean, yes, I feel like it's possible that they could have been with Vader and they could be with everybody else because it's kind of like this royal guard mentality, like what the Emperor has, where like these guys are only loyal to him.
Yeah.
Why couldn't he have Sith cultists do the same thing and watch over Vader and watch everything that's going on in Exegol or other points of the galaxy? That's how I feel, like some crazy dark side terrorist organization
Right.
that's everywhere.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is super interesting is like the Sith Eternal when we see them in the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, Palpatine's been there for what, like 20 years?
Yes.
Like what raised
Yes.
like 19 or 20 and
Yeah.
like there's a whole generation of children that were brainwashed and basically forced to be loyal to Palpatine and the Sith Eternal. So all of those people who are like they're like the stormtroopers, like those people are like just brainwashed.
Yeah. The Sith troopers were literally born there. There's a whole
Yeah.
like a whole what's it called to where the gladiators are. There's this whole arena that's inside that damn temple that's there, and that's where they're all fighting and
Yeah.
doing all this training and everything. And it's like really crazy that, yeah, man, he literally bred these cultists. But I do believe that although it's Exegol, I personally feel like they're everywhere. And one of the things I think points that actually goes back to Bane, where in the Clone Wars, Yoda goes to Morabond, which is Korriban, right? And what's interesting is Darth Bane is there. His spirit is there on Korriban. But if you've read the Darth Bane series, you know that is not where Bane died.
Hmm.
Bane died elsewhere. And only Bane's arm survived because he failed the essence transfer and he was
Right.
basically got Thanos snapped after that.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if like these Sith cultists, maybe at one time were around Korriban and were just trying to bring all of anybody that they ever thought had any affiliation with the Sith in the role of two, and maybe brought back the only remnants that Bane had and brought him over to Korriban, and maybe that's how his spirit ended up meeting Yoda. That's how I make it make sense.
Hmm.
But it's just stuff like that where, like, dude, these guys are probably like everywhere in like every edge of the galaxy, doing who God knows what. I wouldn't even put it past him to be on Peridia or something like that,
Right.
man.
And I'm sure some of them are force sensitive. Like some of them are like
Yes.
super. I mean, they're doing they have to be doing like dark side of alchemy. Like they have to be
Yeah.
doing all this weird stuff to keep Palpatine alive, Snoke, like all of this cloning stuff. Like
Yeah,
they
man.
are super advanced and like they have a whole civilization just on the fact that they love the Sith. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy concept that was only like surface level in that movie just to kind of like make it look cool almost.
Yes.
But it's like give me a comic run of a
Yeah.
person who lives in the Sith Eternal. Like what's going on there?
Yeah, yeah. To me, it is the dark side equivalent of clone troopers in the prequels. Like that's what I expect it to be because there's so many of them, and
Mhm.
we've never seen anything like that in live action. The closest thing I think we've gotten is the Star Wars: The Old Republic trailers for the MMO, where we see the
Right.
Sith, come out of the shuttle when Darth Malgus storms the Jedi Temple. So this is like completely different, and it's in live action, so everybody has witness to this, and I would love to see so much of that or where it can go. But I think there's still so much more that they could do with this idea of Sith Eternals, and yeah, of course there's people that are ritualistic. Of course there's people that are assassins. Maybe there's other apprentices and things like that, or acolytes that are out there doing whatever they can do. Hey, at the end of the day, this is our code red, and if I die, then you all gotta keep the mantle going and pass it down like it's this whole new rule of two. So
Right.
that would be pretty sick. Yeah, give it to me.
Yeah. Just give me, yeah. Give me more. Like the thing that I preach is just give me more original stories. Like just
Mhm.
give me something that like has not been like super delved into before. Like I love Skeleton Crew because that is something new that they tried. Like it was
Yeah.
super fun. Like give us like those are the risks that I think Lucasfilm should take. The
Yeah.
calculated risk was like this is new, but we're gonna do it well. It was Goonies. It was a pirate adventure. Like
Yes.
it's fun. Like that's exactly that box that they put themselves in, and they did really well inside that. And that's something
Yes.
that
Yeah.
we need consistently from
Yeah.
Lucasfilm to be able to produce.
Yeah, if like take the risks, but execute it as well as Andor or Skeleton Crew, the first two seasons of The Mandalorian,
Mhm.
Star Wars Visions. You know, like if these shows are more consistent with the way that they're executed like that, I think there would be a lot less people criticizing it. And if they were criticizing it, I think that we would all be able to call them out and be like, yeah, you probably just don't like it, and that's okay, but
Yeah.
it's not a bad show. Yeah, I mean, because yes, where is my Sith Acolyte show or Sith Eternal show? Well, where is any of the animated shows in the sequel trilogy? Because there's none of that, like, and I think that's another like big issue with just current Lucasfilm development right now. It's just like there's nothing that's really helping enhance everything that we have going on. With the movies that were coming out back in the day, we had video games, we had books, supplementary content like crazy. Oh, you want the Clone Wars animated series? Guess what? Here comes Republic Commando. Here comes Republic Commando books. Like where is that stuff? Where is my new Jedi Order type of stuff for Rey after the sequel trilogy? Or what is Finn doing? Or yes, what is the Sith Eternal doing?
Right.
It's just where is that? I don't know. And I'm kind of upset that we haven't gotten that yet, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like the only thing we've gotten with Finn with Ray is like the Lego like holiday special, which is Finn like training with Ray's lightsaber like on the
Yeah.
Falcon. Like that's the extent that we've gotten some supplemental stuff. And I think like this Filoni verse is going to try and bridge a gap, trying to fill in some holes between like 6 and 7, but like we have nothing that will like we have nothing that will like actually make that jump and transition us into the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's upsetting for me, I feel like, because that's the one thing I really looked forward to is if I can get every era executed and put within enough thought as like the High Republic did, I would be very happy. I'm not saying I'm not, but it's just like I see the level of execution that went into that. Where is that for the Old Republic? Where is that for the New Republic era, the Mandoverse? Like we haven't even gotten a Mandalorian book yet, you know.
Right, yeah.
So it's just stuff like that where I think it's because maybe they're just so held up tight. Like, well, we can't use this character because this is a live action character. We don't know where the story is. Maybe we're not allowed to use it in the expanded universe. And I think that makes me less involved with the expanded universe because I know the way I see it and interpret it makes me feel like it's not as important.
Right. Yeah, yeah. No, that's such a valid point. One of the questions that I was just came up in my head
Yeah,
was like for this Ray like new Jedi Order stuff for Starfighter, like what who's going to be the villain? Like
yeah,
will it be a Sith? Will it be something completely different? Will it be like I'm just ruminating in my head like what would you
yeah.
want this villain to be?
I think actually we talked about this one of our second or third podcasts. I can't remember, but I always talk about how every level there is another devil, and the only way to make great heroes is to have great villains. There needs to be some new big bad. Is that yes, a renegade dark sider? I feel like you need to have a dark sider. You need to have a real villain. There needs to be somebody. Is it the criminal underworld? Is it the remnants of the empire and the first order? Is it the pirate kingdom? Whatever. Is it, oh my gosh, Palpatine is dead? Now there's this complete schism in uncharted space where all the anomalies are, and the Celestials are no longer there taking control of it. And now Abeloth has broken free because she no longer senses that Darth Sidious is alive. And so she feels like she can just absorb everything in the galaxy. That would be cool. I would like that. Do people like Abeloth? No. But I think it would be a really interesting character to maneuver into the verse and build up to her slowly, that there's something out there that everybody is fearing. But I think there's a lot of stuff that you could do, like the criminal underworld, like the remnants of the First Order. I'm not saying bring back Thrawn or anything like that, but there's always something. There's always a bigger fish. And I think it's time that maybe look into the expanded universe and Legends, man. There's so much out there. There's the Grisk, there's the Yuuzhan Vong, there's Waru. Like I said, there's Abeloth. There's just so much. There's the Nel Nel, which I think is really cool. And a lot of people don't know about that because it's in like one mention of the source book. There's so much that you could do in this universe, man. It's crazy.
So so Abeloth is like attacks the Force itself, right?
So you remember the Clone Wars episodes with the Mortis
Yeah,
overlords?
yeah,
Yeah. So she is wife basically. She's the mother.
yeah.
She wasn't like a god. She was just like a human, and then she ended up living with them, and she was gonna die because she's mortal. Ended up going into their pool of knowledge and stuff. Basically, became this abomination.
Hmm.
And so everyone was like, "Yeah, she's kind of crazy. Not only did she get like hella power, but it also like messed her up mentally, and now she's a lunatic. So we have to put her in jail." And so that's basically what happened. They put her in jail. They had this like crazy prison that was built by a whole bunch of civilizations and the Celestials themselves, and they imprisoned her. But the thing is like this: once Anakin killed the Mortis gods, no one was able to go back and make sure that this lady was still there. So for the prison is basically breaking
Right.
as all this is going on, and then she's eventually able to break free. There's some really cool stuff in that series where she's just about to break free because where she is in space. But the thing is that she's luring people in with her voice like a siren. And so she's connecting with them through the force. And I think that would be really interesting if you have something like that. She's not really broken out yet, but she's still able to manipulate things, maybe possess stuff.
Hmm.
That would be cool. Like Exar Like I think that there's a lot of stuff that you can do with the supernatural esque type of Star Wars force things that have only really been in the expanded universe, but they can evolve and make it more digestible for live action viewers. I think there's a lot that you could do. I think they're just holding themselves back. They've been holding themselves back with a lot of the pre characters,
Yeah.
but I don't know, man. Sky's the limit, honestly, dude.
Because I think it
Really
would be
is.
cool. I think it would be cool to have an attack on like the Force itself, like someone who
Mm,
is like consuming the light side of the Force. Like
interesting.
not even if like I don't even know I don't even know if that's possible or if there is something that have done that before. But I forget who I heard talk about
That's
it. But like
Knights of the Old Republic too.
yeah, okay, maybe it was
Or,
because
yeah,
I think
literally
maybe
these
like
characters, right?
okay, yeah.
So yeah,
Because I think it might have
yeah.
been like Chaco might have said something like that, but like it's always stuck with me where it's like, hey, like something on like attacking the Force itself and like making it so like, hey, like Rey isn't as strong in the Force right now because something is consuming it. Something like
Mm.
that. Like that would be a way to kind of level things too.
Yeah. Did
And
you
like,
ever read the was it is it Rise of Resistance Reborn book?
no, I did not. No.
She loses her powers in that book.
Okay.
Ray loses her powers in that book, and that was actually a huge storyline that they just abandoned completely.
Yeah.
After the Last Jedi, she lifts up the rocks. She has no idea how she did it, and she's just like aftershock, can't do anything.
Okay. Interesting.
Um, she's like can't do anything, like nothing at all. In that book, she is terrified and scared. And then there was the Rise of Skywalker comics that came out, getting ready for the movie. And in there, you see her. She's able to use the Force, but she is so bad. Like she's getting attacked by a monster, and she can't even like force push it because she's still having this problem. And then the movie comes out, and then she's the fucking Avatar. So so
Right.
which I don't have the problem. Like, I'm not a Mary Sue critiquer person. I think
Yeah.
that's bogus. But that was a very compelling storyline that just vanished and disappeared. I I don't think it would be right to go back to that now, because it seems like at the end of the Rise of Skywalker, she has a new lightsaber, and it seems like she's starting anew, as if her story is just now starting. But I think you could introduce something maybe like the Yuuzhan Vong, that are like anti the Force, and the Force doesn't
Yeah.
really affect them in that way.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
think that would be better than attacking the Force
Yeah.
itself,
I agree.
because I think that becomes too universe breaking, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
No, that totally makes sense.
Alrighty, so we were talking a lot about, just in general, everything that was going on with the potential idea of a threat for Rey. And if you've played Knights of the Old Republic, there's a very interesting species called the Rakatans. And when you find them in Knights of the Old Republic, they're basically at the end of their life, basically. But they ruled the galaxy. I think they actually ruled several galaxies. It's a really interesting way how Knights of the Old Republic introduced this alien race, because they were basically slave owners. They were conquerors. They were going around everything. You talk about like how big the empire was, and how much the empire and the territories were. The Rakatans were supposed to rival that as well, mind you, but this is thousands and thousands of years before the empire even exists. But without getting into like the nitty gritty of it, like, the Rakatans used weapons that literally channeled the dark side of the Force. And yeah, it's like insane. Like, they were so tyrannical in power that their power literally influenced the rise of the Jedi, because of how crazy that
Oh
was.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And the only reason why they ended up basically losing was because someone made a virus, and that virus was so effective that it infected them and the dark side of the Force, to the point that they basically lost their entire abilities. All the entire race lost their entire ability to use the dark side of the Force and their technology. So it basically made them sick, made them lose their power, and they practically died out in thousands of years later. It was like insane how effective that was. I think the Rakatans are really cool too, because when you read these source books, some of them survived and some of them still had slaves, and they ended up venturing outside the known galaxy into their Rakatan archipelago, which is like where they basically win, and everything else. So there's potentially other galaxies out there that might be still in the reigns, just like the Sith cult. They might be still in the reigns of the Rakatan Empire as well. Them coming back would be really cool. So I think that would be awesome. I just like the idea of external threats outside the known galaxy. I think that's pretty wicked.
Yeah, I think traveling outside of the known galaxy is probably the next steps that we're in.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't get into Warhammer too much, but Warhammer is on this like insane, massive scale with numbers, and I always love this idea of something invading your galaxy and they're taking over everything, but you realize they're not actually trying to take over. They're actually running from something else, you
Mm.
know? And I think that would be cool, because you're sitting there fighting this thing. It's like, oh my God, get them out of here. They're coming from one side of the galaxy, then they come from the other side of the galaxy. So it's just like, oh my God, what the flip is happening? And then, I think was always so like one of the coolest things ever is a third faction is introduced, something crazy or something
Hmm.
scarier. I'm a big Halo fan, so first it's the Covenant, then it's the Flood. Yeah, I think that stuff is pretty cool. And I don't know, I'm just sitting here talking about cool ideas that we'll probably never get. But
But what else can we do? We're Star Wars fans. That's what we're born to do.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, one of the other things that we wanted to touch on was Mace Windu versus Sidious. Because this has been recently this has popped off a little bit in the community, but just like it's always been a point of contention. Like, did Sidious like lose on purpose? Did
Yeah,
Sidious like was Mace Windu using the dark side in
yeah.
parentheses to
Oh
defeat
God,
Sidious? What
Jesus.
is what is his shatter point? Like what all is that? What is like when we first watched Mace Windu versus Palpatine, it is cool to see like Mace Windu in action because we never really saw him other than like him like cutting Jango Fett's
Yeah,
head off.
droids. Yeah.
And droids, yes, but like that was really cool to see him because he is like one of the highest Jedi in the Order. He's probably like top three most
Yeah.
powerful Jedi that we see. So like, what are your thoughts on that debate?
It's been changing, honestly. Before I was like 100% certain that Mace Windu won, because
Mm,
in the commentary, George Lucas talks about how the idea was always that Mace Windu was going to overpower Darth Sidious, and so okay, all right, cool. So he won, but then, in Ian McDermott, the actor for the Emperor, is like, no, Mace wouldn't have stood a chance. It's Palpatine. He's so strong. And then then Nick Gillard, the choreographer, he's like, no, Darth Sidious is the man. Like no one's getting close, So it's all these other context clues, and then the writer for the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, Matthew Stover, changes his mind a lot. And it's so crazy because like he's the one that wrote the book that I use all the evidence for. And then, in one interview, he's like, oh, yeah, no, Mace definitely won the duel, and then he's like, actually, I don't know now, and it's like, bro, you have all the annotations with George Lucas. What do you mean you don't know?
you're the guy. Like
Yeah,
you decide.
yeah, exactly. And he's also the big Mace Windu guy because he's also a part of the Shatterpoint books and
Yes.
and stuff like that. So that's like straight up Mace Windu. To me, Mace Windu won the duel. I think a lot of people talk about like, well, it's Darth Sidious. He's a master and everything. Yeah, but so was Maul in terms of the dueling. But and you're not going to tell me that Darth Maul is more powerful than Mace Windu. Personally, I feel like Mace Windu is that dude. And Mace Windu is that. I mean, it's Yoda, and then it's him, and then it's Anakin. In my opinion, maybe sure, Kenobi with Sarisu because he's a Sarisu god, but like Mace Windu won that fight. But in terms of the power and the Force, Darth Sidious all day. Darth Sidious is the guy, and I think that's the other part that's always like bickering at me like, no, this isn't like as obvious as you think, because when you think about Darth Sidious, you think about how powerful he is, and to me, he's the most powerful Sith Lord. He's stronger than Vitiate. He's stronger than anybody that I'll because he's the man, and we'll get into that one day. But the more I see it, it's like, dude, yeah, I mean, like, could he really have maybe held back to a point? That was the point, right? Is like he needed Anakin to see the Jedi be the Jedi, or he needed Anakin to make that step across. And to be honest, there is really nothing for Palpatine in this fight outside of making sure Anakin Skywalker takes that step. And that's the one thing that always bugs me out is like I don't know anymore if Mace Windu truly won, you know. So it's always shoulda, woulda, coulda, what if stuff. But Mace
Yeah.
Windu definitely won the duel for me. I really don't know if Mace Windu would have been able to kill Sidious in that moment. It's so confusing, man. It's so yeah.
Yeah, it's I think it's a gray area, which most
Yeah.
things that we debate are probably in the gray area where like maybe Palpatine is like going into this fight like, oh, I just killed these three masters in
Yeah.
a second. Like, I'll get him. Like, and then they're fighting, and he realizes, like, oh, like,
Oh shit, this is that
I
dude.
don't know if I can get him like that. And then he's like, Anakin's coming. All right, this
Yeah.
is what we're gonna do. Anakin's
Yeah.
coming. Oh no, now my lightsaber's gone, and now like that in my head is what's happening where he's going into it obviously super confident
Yes.
because he is
Yes.
that dude, but then he realizes Mace Windu is also that dude and I can't kill him like that.
Yeah.
So like obviously Palpatine's still here, but Mace Windu is like here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe he thought Mace Windu was down here, but now he
Yes.
has to get this fight
Yeah.
going, and it's
Dude.
just obviously the Force and perfect timing that Anakin shows up, and he's like, cool, because Palpatine is like he's like a master planner, but he's also a master adapter. He is
Mhm.
the person that can pivot and just make any situation to what he wants it to be. So I think that was in my head canon. That's what happens.
I don't think he gets enough credit for how tactical he is.
Yeah.
Honestly, like he is pretty amazing. But you bring up two specific points that I think the book does so well in extending upon, and it's the first thing is like yeah, bro, like a Palpatine cuts through Agent Kalor, Kit Fistu, and SC10 like butter, like nothing. I think they're the biggest frauds in the entire Jedi Order, bro. They are scrubs. I can't believe that they showboated like that. Like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
I'm still frustrated to this day. But then yeah, Mace Windu is like, oh, oh, this guy is oh, okay, I'm doing my best moves, and this guy is not going down. I may be effed, you know, I may be
Yeah.
cooked, Chad. It may be over. The rule of two might be coming to an end tonight, you know. And then what's so good about this book is that Mace Windu Shatterpoint is helping you understand every point of this fight. Mace Windu, and this is why that always makes me feel like Mace Windu was going to do it. Like this was it. It was going to be over. Mace Windu's Shatterpoint literally senses the weakness of the entire dark side. The entire dark side. And that is Palpatine allowing this to happen to show that he's so weak. But I personally believe that Shatterpoint can't be manipulated like
Right.
that,
Yeah.
especially Mace Windu's, right? And the reason why I say this is because earlier in that book, when Sidious tells Anakin that he is you know the Sith Lord that they've been looking for, Mace Windu also sees that Anakin is truly the chosen one because the way that he is connecting to the Force right now, Mace Windu sees him as the bomb that could destroy everything. That, in my opinion, is like that's this like all right. So Mace Windu Shatterpoint is like the truth. This is it. Like it is literally the truth. And so and like the novel is literally describing Darth Sidious as a defeated, and I quote verbatim, defeated Sith Lord when Mace Windu stops the lightning and Sidious can't shoot the lightning anymore. And it's also describing how Sidious's head is morphing in shape from the damage of the lightning being pushed back. Mace Windu is also choking on his lightsaber from the ozone because it's so close. So there's stuff that's saying like, okay, like this is like, man, like if the score count is 10, Mace Windu's at a 9 and Palpatine's at like an 8. You know, like someone's about to get game point right now. But yes, in that moment too, Mace Windu also senses that Darth Sidious is not afraid because he knows Anakin Skywalker is there. And all this stuff is happening and I'm reading all this stuff and I'm just like there's just so many details for Mace Windu and for Sidious and I'm just like I just really wish George Lucas would just say Mace Windu won, you know, because I'm
Right.
tired of this shit, bro. Like,
Yeah. No, and that leads me to the next question. Do you want him to survive?
Mace.
Yes.
Oh yeah, man. I I made this like TikTok on my face TikTok a while back about how I'm watching Revenge of the Sith 9 million times and Anakin still turns to the dark side. You know, it's just like it's so sad. You know, like it's so sad. I think there was like a Lego video I think I showed you this weekend, and it was like showing like the what if,
Yes.
and I was like, it's Saturday morning and I'm crying like a bitch. Like I'm
Yes.
just like, it was like perfect. And I know a lot of people like hate Mace Windu, and it's kind of a red flag for me, you know. But the idea of Anakin just truly finally seeing that, like I wish Anakin had Shatterpoint or something along the lines to help him realize all the bullshit that Sidious was grooming him and feeding him.
Hmm.
Because yes, I want Mace to survive. You know, I want Anakin and him to survive. But if he survives that fall, I don't think Mace Windu is coming out as the same person. I think he becomes radicalized, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think he becomes very similar to Treya, which is like, I hate the Force. I want to kill the Force. You know, like I think that's a very I could see Mace Windu like dipping into that. Not necessarily the dark side, but like he's now a radical and like almost basically like our boy that we love so much from Andor. Revolution is not for the sane, Saw Gerrera. So so
Oh my goodness.
I can see him being like a radical like that. You know, like this is it, bro. Like I don't Skywalker's the Force. It's I'm taking it out. Like it's all done. You know.
Yeah. No, that's, I
Yeah.
mean, and in his psyche, like hey, I did every single thing right, and the Force still decided that I was gonna die. Like
Yes.
that he could try to be, he could try to like take revenge on the Force itself. Like
Yes.
that mindset. I think that would be super interesting.
Yes, and that's why I love Knights of the Old Republic too. I mean, everybody loves Revan, right? And I got you, bro. I love Revan. I love Malik, but dude, this character right here, Darth Treya, with the three lightsabers, like the ideology that she has, in my opinion, makes the most sense of someone that she was a Jedi Master and then she was a Sith Lord. You know, she was the pinnacle of both sides of teachings, and she realized everybody sucks. You know, everybody's complete shit. Everybody uses you, and even the Force itself, which we're all connected to. Is there really choice? Is there really free will? Is there really balance? You know, and that is a very interesting question that I think a lot
Yeah.
of people could like ask in real life and not have an answer to. It would confuse them. Even someone like Mace Windu, that could make him lose faith and no longer want to be a priest, you know, because something happened to him that he said, bro, I trained this kid. I was there. I literally had the devil in my hands. And the supposed son of the light side decided to betray me, you know? So I think that's always been a compelling idea, but Star Wars would have to bring back a dead character. So,
Yes. Yeah. Which they have done. They have
yes,
done that.
so much. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's something that they can do. But yeah, that is always a point that I see where people are like, "Oh, like no one has ever been no Jedi has died from falling that much." Like no one has like it's
It
just
wasn't
like
just falling, bro. He got hit by like the master of Sith lightning,
right.
bro. Of Force lightning, dude. Like,
And
oh
in
my
Coruscant,
gosh.
you're falling like not only like to the earth, you're falling like down into like you're falling below, like you're hitting like 1,000
He's
stories.
going down, bro. He's going all the way to
And
1313, man.
who knows if you're getting hit by this traffic, that traffic, this traffic, that like there's like a
Yeah, dude.
million
Oh,
layers of Coruscant traffic. So like odds are if you're going to fall and die somewhere, it's gonna be on like the most likely to do it would be on Coruscant where you actually don't stop falling.
you know, you ever see the miniseries for the Clone Wars? Like the first Clone Wars
Yes,
series?
yeah. I love oh my God, I love that.
Mace Windu can survive that fall, bro. Like
Yeah.
he can. Like
Just like
yeah,
the Force killing thousands of battle droids.
dude, he can. Oh, well, he got hit by lightning. Yeah, but my guy, I guarantee you that dude is having synthetic arms and legs after that too. You know, like I
Yeah.
just there is a Star Wars Visions comic that came out with Ronin, and Mace Windu is in that comic, basically. It's really cool. I don't want to spoil it, but it shows you how he could have survived, who he would be, and the
Oh
Ronin
wow.
runs into him. And I love that comic because they had a book that came out, and apparently that book is like it went into a different direction of the anime, but the
Mhm.
comic is like straight from the creators that made the Ronin anime. So this is like their ideas, their their drawings and stuff. So it's almost as if like maybe this was a draft that didn't make it to Star Wars Visions and they decided to use it for the comic.
Yeah.
So in some way, Mace is living in a version of Star Wars. And I think that's interesting to see how it will work, but I just don't see this guy, one, surviving, and two, if he does survive, he's not the same person.
Yeah. I think we need more Ronins in Star Wars. I
Yes.
think like Ben Solo was a huge missed opportunity to be like a lone wolf, like
Ugh.
figuring himself out. Like we have like Balin, and shit, what's her name? Shin.
Yes.
Those two are probably the closest that we get to like someone who's like removed from
Yeah.
either factions,
Yeah.
like
Renegades just doing
renegades.
their things,
Yes.
man. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we
I
have
love it.
Ventress. We have Ventress who is like in the middle. Like
Mhm.
she's like a light sider now,
Yeah,
basically.
she definitely is. I mean, because she was a Jedi first, you
Right.
know? So, yeah, I
Yes.
get it.
I just need people who are like against the grain, just doing their own thing, but like still use the force. Like
Yeah.
not gray Jedi. I know I know that triggers a lot of people with gray Jedi stuff, but like
We
not
need to
using
have a podcast about the Great Jedi.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like just people who use the force differently, which is why I love like the witches in the Acolyte, where they have a different view of the Force,
Mm,
where they see things differently. They have different powers. Like it's the Night Sisters. Like there's different factions of Force users that we don't see that often. That's something that I love to see. It's new
yeah.
stuff.
Yes, I didn't like the way it was executed, but I always loved
Yeah.
the idea of the force sensitives and doing different things. I Dude, I mean, like it's like the Sancti in Legends, or I mean they're kind of mentioned in the new canon, but these were creatures that were so incredibly force gifted that they could flow walk in like change minute things in time. So it's not time travel, but it is time travel. It's really weird. And that's all they do. Like they're just like force monks and things like that. Like there's
Yeah.
just so much I think that creatively you can do with the force that you can get away with. I think some people are creative bankrupt, and it's sad to see something like the Acolyte that on paper was a great idea, just not turn out the way that we wanted it to, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think more new ideas is what we need. That's what I always preach for. New taking risks, more ideas. That's my wheelhouse of stuff. And they may miss sometimes, but like maybe they'll
Yeah.
hit. Like maybe they
Yeah.
will hit.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, even looking at these like source books from back in the day and these RPG books, like, there are so many incredible ideas that, like, I was like the Nell Nell. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Nell Nell.
No, I have
Um,
not. I have not.
so the Nell Nell is think of it like a virus, but it consumes you, it takes over you. It's intelligent. It's like it has like it's all one brain, like a hive mind, and it's also existing to make sure you go through the most horrific experience ever because that's how it gets pleasure. And it's almost like a zombie like creature that can just take over everything.
Yeah.
I would compare it to the flood from Halo, but it starts out as this like micro organism thing. Apparently the Chiss know about it, Thrawn knows about it. This is what's mentioned in the source book. So it's just like on this side of the galaxy and they've tested it out. They know how it could work and they're trying to destroy it completely. There's a whole planet apparently that it's from, that it controls, so like if someone gets this and it gets off planet, this could potentially destroy the galaxy and
Oh
consume the
wow.
galaxy. Yeah. So stuff like that I always think is really interesting. And it's one little paragraph, or two paragraphs in a source book that nobody ever looks through. It's
Hmm.
stuff like that. Even like the Nameless, I think, was a good concept. The Drangneer, right? Really good
Yeah.
concept from the High Republic. The Blight, which is like the evolved version of this like consuming bacteria thing that the Nameless apparently have. It's really weird, but I still don't think they're using that stuff. Like from the source
Yeah.
book where there's just so much. The Star Weirds. The Star Weirds are so cool. We were just talking about that video today.
Hmm.
Like there's just so many concepts of Star Wars that haven't even been used yet, and it's in these little books that no one even dusts off to go and take and look at. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah. That's a lot of like the supplemental stuff is where we get like super like cool concepts that unfortunately I don't think will ever really make it to like primetime live action Star Wars movies and shows and stuff like that. It could, but like I don't know.
I think there is a good chance for things like that to be introduced in movies. It's not it would it be the main villain? No, I don't think so. But it would help you see that there's more things out there than just a dark sider with a red lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole potential of introducing this, like, with the Zepho and everything else, like, that's a great idea. This is out there. That's like the video game version of the Rakatans from Knights of the Old Republic. So it's all these things. And what we need to do is just amplify the universe more to make people realize that this is a single galaxy in an entire universe. And I think that's what Ahsoka did really well, is
Yeah.
that showing you that there is so much more stuff out here than just what we know of that's been happening. And most casual fans that only watch the movies have no idea the lore of like thousands of years before the movies start, which is also quite rich. So what else is happening in the thousands of years before, thousands of years after the movies take place in other galaxies across the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, that is that is what we want. That's there's so much. There's just so rich, and I think that's why we love Star Wars and why we us specifically love diving into the lore and talking about the lore. It
Yes.
it's my favorite world building. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much to it, and I think that's what we can say is why we love Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the theory crafting. I think that's always made us want to engage and talk more. You saw this one thing in a YouTube video that made you read this book and then play this video game. It's an iceberg, it's a
Yeah,
rabbit hole, but it's more like a black hole where it's just like, oh my God, we are going into so much. What are we doing? I think one of these days, maybe Connor, when Johnny's back, we should, because I have these source books, and maybe we should just go in through some of these pages where I read them, because I always do these like really interesting horror-esque Star Wars type stuff
yeah,
that I like. It's just like minute things that no one ever talks about. And I would love to read these things to you and see like everybody's reaction. Like, whoa, why haven't they used this? What the heck?
right.
This all stuff was canon at one point and completely forgotten. You know?
I would love that. That would actually be so cool
Yeah.
to do. Like get a
Yeah.
reaction of all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
I think that would be dope.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think we'll probably wrap up here.
Yeah.
What are how are we feeling about Star Wars right now? What are we looking forward to? What's going on with you?
I feel like I am in the middle of the penumbra right now. Very similar to like Mace Windu's Vapad. It's like I haven't crossed the door yet, and I'm waiting for something to happen. Because there's no live action stuff happening right now. I'm just waiting for visions and whatever else and stuff. So I'm just on the, I don't know, calm before the storm, but it doesn't even feel like a storm yet. So I'm still waiting for something to happen. Is that Knights of the Old Republic is going to be releasing in 2026? Is that a new Star Wars MMO taking place in the High Republic? Whatever, like just, I need something else outside of these movies that feels so far away
Yeah.
to give me excited about, and the High Republic has ended, and I think it was okay. Like I would probably say it's like a solid 7 out of 10 for me, but I need more of something right now, and I don't know what it is. That's how I feel, honestly.
Yes, yes. I agree. I have been listening to the from a certain point of view of Return of the Jedi in
Oh,
my
that
free
one's
time.
so good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I am a couple stories in. I got past the one with the droid, the server droid that the torture droid that ends up becoming the server droid on Tatooine.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
yeah, I've seen that one, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
Have
got
you got
the
to the Emperor's story yet? Have you got to the
nah,
Emperor? Okay,
not
okay,
yet,
good.
not
I'm
yet.
so glad I didn't say anything else, dude.
Yeah, no,
That
I've
Yeah.
seen like snippets of that story. I
Yeah.
think I actually might have read it because I have the physical book.
Yeah.
Like, so I think I may have when I first got it. I think went to that chapter because I heard
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, cool.
But oh my God, it's so good. I love all of the stories for the certain point of views. It's some of them are a little bit goofy and like it's a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
hard to
yeah.
get through, but like it's cool.
Yeah.
Like that's another reason why we love Star Wars because there's a point of view and a story for every single
Yes,
person
man.
that we
Everything,
meet.
dude. Yeah, dude. Now I'm just thinking about the Empire Strikes Back one with the not the Wampa. That one was insane.
Yes.
That
Oh
one was
yeah.
so cool. God.
There and now when you look back when you watch the movies, you're like, I also know what's happening here too. Like
Yeah.
there's another thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you see the A New Hope one with the Dianoga?
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that one was all. I don't know, man. I love that stuff. That's yeah. This is why I get into it, and now I'm
Yeah.
making the podcast go longer than it needs to be.
No, we and we'll be back. We'll be back hopefully next week with a healthy daddy sheave.
Yes.
And yeah, if you've made it this far, we all appreciate it. Tune in to Dagovere's channel.
Yeah.
I have been consistently making TikToks. Dagovere has been consistently making TikToks as well. So we're hoping the algorithm gods bless both of us. Um, but yeah, we appreciate everything. May the force be with you. Any last words?
Hey man, go out there and have fun. Don't listen to what people are saying on the internet. Just get your own experience for things, please.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody. Have a good night. May the force be with you.
Deuces.